Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to ACC once again for CRL round 2 of the Indianapolis Grand Prix. My name is Jamie, and welcome back to the race there. We are in qualifying. Practice has just gone as all the drivers were practicing around this circuit. And good evening, Nathan May. Hopefully you're doing alright. It's a shame you can't race with us tonight because you were on the podium, I think, last week. And last week's race unfortunately got cancelled due to disconnection. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. And on board with Eckholtz, because I believe he's one of the drivers then who's currently on a flying lap around here in Indianapolis, and it's currently 14 corners around this circuit, and we know we've got, so it's a much different layout in comparison to the other circuits we had too around here, as the long straight has been blocked off by cones then. So here we are, it's his left-hander, but he goes off the track already. Does Lindworm. I think we're on board with the wrong driver. It's Lindworm coming on board with us, so he's off the track. And off away he goes there. We've got 50 minutes left in this qualifier session, so still plenty of time to improve. Wanted to race, but haven't got my rig or PS5 set up since morning. Moving house, sorry. Yeah, it's a shame, Nathan, but believe you're moving to Scotland, are you? So yeah, you'll be with your brother again. Pretty sure you would be moving out of your house away from your brothers, but Nathan, yeah, I think him and his brother gets along really well. Another driver who's currently racing in ACC. This car stopped on the track to get out of the way for other people, and we're on board with Campbell this time, who was quite close to podium himself. This number 793, currently right behind the number 9, number 78 of Yen in 40 place. So the Lamborghini, they're just holding up the Audi as Campbell makes his way through now. I'm actually haven't done my research around this track, so it's going to be quite new to me as well, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out. So Campbell's currently coming towards the right-hander now, as the pink car ahead of us of Jay Van, who goes a little bit out wide, and he might have lost a bit of time there too. Campbell is all over the rear of him as we make our way now towards the final corner. Onto the main straight we go. And we'll see what lap times these guys produce. What is it, going to be a 38 something? Well, he's much faster than that, as Campbell goes to the top of the timing sheets there with a 36.5, so a decent lap time there, as Jay Dunley currently goes towards P2 or P3 with a 36.7 then, so 2/10 away, and Campbell, I dare say, would find more time if he could dispatch the Lamborghini as quickly as he can, otherwise he might get hold up right behind him, which he is so far. You can see he's already up on his delta. In the first few corners up by 2 or 3 tenths, but as you can see along the lap, he's currently losing a bit of lap time now. So I'm not quite sure why this map in the middle is there. It wasn't there last time, was it, when I was doing qualifying in the spectator mode? So hopefully this map goes, if I could turn it off or not, I'm not quite sure. Oh, this is IRT Phil. I just had a quick flick to see who this was. I didn't even mean to press the button. But this is Phil in a P2 then. He's currently 1,000ths down of Campbell's time, or 100th down, sorry, of Campbell. Further back is Jay Dunley by further 3 tenths. And this is not in order, is it? It's not letting me do it in order. So, yeah, quite frustrating this is. But is there another mode I can go towards? Not the replay mode, obviously not. But, oh, this is the mode. Yeah, there we go. Managed to sort myself out. So here we are then. Jay Dunley currently in P4, and Eckholtz has got up into P3. So his first mistake, Eckholtz did make a mistake, as Ewan Small goes to the top of the time machines with a 36.0. Harry Palmer slots into P3. Didn't really have a good race back in Imola, did Harry Palmer, although he was in the top 10 but not close towards the front like I thought he'd be. So can it be an improvement, as Phil in the Beamer goes into P2. So it's currently a BMW 1-2 so far. And we've got Camo in P3 there. This is rotation. Christian back in P3. So nice to see him back in ACC. Formula 1 driver, obviously back in the league racing days, and rotation. And he's back here in ACC. Jay Dunley currently in P6 in the McLaren. This is quite good, you know, because I can look at people's PSNs if I don't know who they are. Hopefully it's not interrupting the stream every time I click on their name. Hopefully it leaves that bit out, because I do like to look at people's names just in case I forget who they are. Not much separated between these two. This is QVR Verstappen in P8 then. So QVR Verstappen, a man who allows me to commentate on Saturdays. Thank you to him. Jay Van Vien. I didn't actually know his real names for this, but yeah, nice to see Verstappen here too in P8. Eckholtz in P9, or P7, sorry. Currently 6 tenths further back, as Ewan Small currently sets the pace, and P2 belongs to Honda. And that goes towards Meneses in P2 there, so quite close between first and second place between the Beamer and the Honda. It's currently separated by 400s as all these cars then have got 7 minutes left to go in this qualified session. Make his way towards the line with 2 drivers in front of him. He crossed the line now to improve by 2/10. So that was a great improvement there from Ewan Small as he continues to leave off where he left off in Imola. As Christian goes into P2, so that's 300s away, and that's a very good lap time indeed there from Christian in the Lamborghini. So not bad lap times are all being set around here from these guys here in ACC. We've got quite a big gap further behind that. We've got Tope down there in P2 with Josh Evandro, who was up there back in Imola, but it looks like he's struggling just a bit here as Tope has just replaced him to P13 then. So Jay Evandro is currently in P14. I think he is on a lap time in the Buzz Lightyear car in the McLaren GT3 Evo, and we'll see what Josh could do. I hope you all don't mind if this map is on the screen. I like to alternate between different cameras to go onto the onboards, etc., and the timing sheet. So if this map is distracting you, I apologise. I don't know how to turn it off if there is a setting to turn this map off. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there back in the Imola race, was it? But anyways, we'll have to deal with it so far. If it is annoying you, let me know in the comment section. I'll completely change it for you. So Josh Sabanjo, where is he so far on the track then? He's currently the car number 21. Almost coming towards the end of his lap as he's got one more heavy breaker zone to negotiate his bound, and we'll see what lap time Josh could set as we make our way now into the right-hander we go. Not many high-speed corners around here, mostly so slow-speed corners, so it's very important there to get good entry and exits there because it's very easy to outbrake yourself and go out wide. Sieb de Margel in P16 there. Sieb will game a happy birthday to him from a few days ago, and here comes Josh Evandro making his way towards the line now. What's it going to be for the McLaren driver as he stays in P14 then, so not the lap he would have wanted, but somebody else, that's Verstappen. He's gone up to P3 there in the Lamborghini number 78, so that's a great lap time there from Verstappen as he currently is 700s down there in P3. I don't think he was racing back in Imola, was Verstappen, but it's nice to see him race here in Indianapolis. Also, I think he's in QVR as well, QVR Verstappen in that esports team, and he's a very quick driver himself in F1. He's also, I think he's a manager as well of a league. Harry Palmer goes up into P7, 6/10 behind Ewan Small in P1. Kevin in the BMW, not in the Lexus this time, in the BMW goes into P6. Current Racing League, GT3 Season 2, Round 2, Indianapolis. There it says at the top of the screen. Didn't even notice that until right now. Who else out there? There's quite a lot of drivers out there. It's not like in Formula 1 where you could do about one lap or so. You could go for multiple runs as long as you've got the tyre life and the tyre temperature as well. Jake Garrett down in P24. Here he comes across the line. The number 116 is about to make his way towards the line, and he goes up into, where'd he go? Where did he go? P3. Jake Garrett has gone up into P3, and he's currently a few hundreds down there. So it's quite close between the top 4, with the Scotsman on top of the Swedish driver, followed by the man from up north in Manchester, ahead of the Dutchman of QVR Verstappen there. So it's quite close there, less than a tenth to separate the top 4. Great stuff indeed then. So we've got more drivers coming out of the pit lane. Was that Ewan Small just coming out of the pit lane, or was it somebody else? I'm not quite sure who that was. That was QVR Verstappen making his way out of the pit lane to go for another run with 4 minutes left to go in this qualified session. So qualified session, despite it being 50 minutes long, it's gone quite quick, hasn't it, in this qualified session. So the 36 is the time to beat then, and let's see whether the rest of them are going to be in comparison to each other then. Here comes Zaitsev making his way towards the line now. I think he is. No, that's in the breaker zone, I think, coming to turn 12, but he went a bit wide. I touched the grass on the apex, which will compromise his line into turn 13. But it looks like he's got it all hooked up there in the Ford Mustang. Here he is, and then making his way towards the final corner in turn 14. Takes a wide entry through there on the exit. Here he comes across the line. Where's he going to be? Currently P15. As he goes, stays in P15. Does Zaitsev, so not the time he wants. We did see him back in the top 10 in Imola. Further behind, let's see who that is coming across the line. They just moved up a place. Was that Tope down in P17? It wasn't Tope. I think it was Pulkien in P15. That is Kenny. So Kenny is racing in the Beamer in P15 ILT Kenny, who's also a quick racer himself. But here he is then in the Beamer, currently 1.5 seconds behind. As Demogel in P20 is making his way out of the pit lane. That is Steve World Gamer, who is currently making his debut for the first race of the season here in ACC, followed by his McLaren teammate right behind. Is that Hansen? No, it's not Hansen. He's currently somewhere else. That's Palmer. As you can see at the top of the screen, it says PAL. So that is Harry Palmer coming out right behind Steve World Gamer. I'm getting used to this, you know. It's getting taking a long time to try and get used to all this commentary stuff here in ACC. So Christian in P2 then, did he improve there, or was that the exact same time we just set a few minutes ago? I want to go on board with somebody now, and that's Campbell I'm on board with, but I want to go on board with Ewan if I can in P1. I don't know how to get through to him. I don't even know where he is. That's what I don't like about the spectator menu, because it puts me on board with drivers relative instead of trying to go on board with people in order, if that makes sense. In fact, we'll watch Verstappen then. And where is he so far on the track? Number 17 making his way through the right-hander, going on to the short straight then. He's currently 1/10 down as the gap in the Delta continues to extend there for Verstappen. So where is he losing that time? And if he finds about a tenth or two, it might put him onto pole. But as you can see, he's losing more time. We're making our way now into left-hander we go. And we'll see how much he keeps going down, does Verstappen. But trying to bring that Delta down is QBR Verstappen, riding the curves very nicely there and cutting the corner, which he can do here in ACC, trying to get the best exits out of the corner as the number 78 continues on his way then onto the right-hander as we head down towards the right-hander then of turn 12. Obviously, it's not, you can't use the original track map as it is speculated for ACC and the touring cars as well. Much different in comparison to real life, as Verstappen is currently down in the middle sector than the last sector, so he will not be improving. There is Christian in a P3. Let's see what Chamo can do as we go on board with him then, as we make our way now into this left-hander we go. Currently fluctuating the Delta, and he hits the curve on the entry really nicely there as we flick our way into this right-hander we go, using a lot of curve on the entry for this one and to the left-hander too. And let's see how he takes it. Nice wide angle through there, hits in the apex really nicely, bringing the car as wide as he can without touching the grass, which he has done. And Chamo there unfortunately has touched the grass, and he's going to definitely lose a lot of time now, is Chamo. Campbell down there in P12, he is improving in that first sector, but where can he find the time? We know he's been up there in Imola, but here in Indianapolis it's a different story behind Harry Palmer. And where can he improve on his lap time? Jake Garrett is currently in P1 as I return to the garage now. So Jake Garrett currently takes P1, and he's a huge 2/10 up on Ewan Small there in P2 there. So can Ewan respond? He's currently out there. Qualifying is about to end in about 5 seconds time. Where is Ewan? He's in the Beamer in P2, and the qualifying has come to a close. Ewan's currently in the first sector. So let's see then how he does. Let's go on board with the Scotsman to see how he's getting on his lap time. That's the wrong driver, sorry. But here's Campbell. Where's he going to go? He's going to come across the line anytime soon as he goes up into P8, does Campbell. But back on board with Ewan Small there. Return to garage, yes. As I try to get used to this. There we go then. So I want to press drive now. Or is it too late to press drive? I'm not quite sure. But anyways, I've got to stay on board with Ewan Small there to see how he does then. He's throwing the car in. Here's Ewan Small as we make our way now on to the old pit straight. But obviously it's been blocked off by cones. As we make our way now into this right-hander we go. Another braking zone he's got to make his way through. Which can be quite tricky in the entry, especially if you hit that curve way too much. Now coming through 13 we go. Car looks nice and planted as we make our way now into the final corner for Ewan Small. Let's see where the Scotsman could go. Has he found 2/10 on his lap? He's about to find out any second now. Comes across the line, and he stays in P2. He does not improve on his own best time. What about Christian? We did see a moment for Christian. I think he's on his lap time is the Lamborghini driver. For Verstappen has pitted. He will not improve, unfortunately, for here. But here comes Christian now, making his way towards the finish line. Where is he going to go? In the Lambo. Stays in P3. What about ILT Phil down there in P5? The session's ended anyway, so that is qualifying commenced, and Jake Garrett takes pole by 2/10. Good stuff indeed. Quite close there between 7th, 8th and 9th, with Kevin down there in P9 and Campbell just running off the top 10 in the Audi. Quite disappointed, it must be said, from Zaitsev down in P17 in the Ford Mustang, whether it's track relative or car relative. But so far, the Lamborghini leads the way in P1 ahead of the Beamer of Ewan Small. So before the race starts, I will take a small break, and we'll see you all for the race here in Indianapolis. Hopefully it'll be all a good one. Should be a good race, I think, around here in Indianapolis. It's a shame we haven't got that long straight, but obviously for safety reasons it's been taken out. We saw a lot of crashes in Formula 1, didn't we, back in 2000 and when was it, 2-3? I think we saw Ralf Schumacher hit the wall a couple of times in the space of one weekend, and we saw 2005 obviously where, what tyre was it? Was it yeah, what was the tyres called back then? I was going to say Brands Hatch, obviously not, it's a track, isn't it? But I actually forgot what tyres you called now. I used to be a massive tyre nerd back then. Knew all the tyres, but couldn't have forgot what they're called. Michelin, there we go, and Bridgestone. I knew it would come to me eventually. One of those that didn't work, and the 6 cars on the Michelin was able to start the race while the rest of them were tied in the pit lane, and obviously we had that fight between the two the two Minardis and the 2 Jordans at the time. And I think it was it Tiago who took P3 away in the Jordan at the time. I know a few Indians there to support Carl Kayan. It was a Ferrari 1-2, of course, with Schumacher and Barrichello, but obviously there were the day when motorsport went downhill, and ever since then, nothing like that's happened, thankfully. We saw a great race here in 2007 between Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton when they went side by side, and obviously Sebastian Vettel made his debut here, didn't he, in the BMW Sauber, when I think Robert Kubica had his massive accident back in Canada, wasn't it, all that time ago. And Sebastian Vettel in the BMW, I think he had a messy start. Did he have a penalty in that race too, did Sebastian Vettel? And I think he still scored a P8 for his first points of the season. Obviously back then the point system were different, so it was P8 where he could score 1 point, and P9 and P10 you didn't score any points. Did quite well, did Sebastian Vettel back in 2007 in the BMW when he was replacing Robert Kubica at the time. But we have to wait 2 minutes and 35 seconds then for this race to get going, and hopefully be exciting. Jake Garrett looking for redemption after spinning at the Verna chicane in the first race of the season. But obviously, there is no championship leader, there is no race winner from last week. So basically, the system's reset. So Jake Garrett hasn't lost anything. But obviously, no room for mistakes now for Jake Garrett. Ewan Small, who had the pace back in Imola, has he shown it once again. Christian, who didn't race back in Imola, but here he is in P3 in the Lamborghini, followed by Verstappen behind him too, with ILT Phil in P5 in the BMW. Meneses in P6, followed by the 2 McLarens of Jay Dunley and Eckholt in P8, Kevin in P9, ahead of Lewis Campbell. Just outside the top 10 is the Ford Mustang of Lindwern, ahead of Son in P12. Harry Palmer outside the top 10 once again in P13. Crosby in 14th place, ahead of Kenny in 15th place. Josh Evandro, unfortunately down in P16, was high up there in P2, followed by Campbell and Nathan in that race too, chasing him down for that P2 spot. But unfortunately here in Indianapolis in 16th place. It's not the qualifying he would have hoped for too. But can he make his way back up there in the Buzz Lightyear car? Before this race starts, we'll take a short break and be back with you very shortly.
10 seconds.
You remind me of something, I don't know what it is. You remind me of something, yeah, you gotta show me. You remind me of something, I don't know what it is, but you remind me of something, yeah, you gotta show me. So as all the cars go side by side, then waiting for the green lights, double formation on that warm lap. We'll see what happens going down into turn one. The green light right now, and Jake Garrett gets away very nicely there. Ewan is alongside Christian as the drive-through penalty for somebody already. Didn't quite see who that was, but now we're heading down into turn one there with Jake Garrett in the lead ahead of Ewan Small. But can Christian go down the inside of Ewan? I think he will. Will be contact. It's so close between Ewan and Christian, but Ewan just holds on there to that P2 in the background. That looks like Means who's gone for, who went out wide just a bit, and Verstappen took P4 away from him. As I want to return to garage. There we go. So return to garage. I think a few people are still in the pit lane. I'm not quite sure who that is, but there's a few people going on the grass there too, and a dirt. But there's some people who are coming out right now. 793 who's coming out of the pit lane. I'm not quite sure who that was, but anyways, we continue to get underway as my thing's been glitched. That's C. Demargel who's left down there as my thing has been glitched. There's people moving all over the place. There we go. Anyways, but Jake Garrett continues to lead ahead of Ewan Small, followed by Christian in P2 and Verstappen in P4, gain a place as a few people. I think somebody's fell down the order quite dramatically. Yes, it is. It's the Honda. Who's that in a spin? That's the Buzz Lightyear car, so it must have been Evanjo who went for a spin. He's on the grass and he rejoins, unfortunately, down through the field. I'm not quite sure where he is right now, maybe about 17th or 18th place as he went for a spin there. He gained quite a lot of pace in the first lap, but he went out wide and lost it on the grass and he's fallen down into P15 too, so that's a massive shame there for Josh. However, Son in P14 was the one who picked himself up a drive-through penalty. I'm not quite sure what that was, whether he overtook somebody on the start. Number 74 of Crosby is stationary. I'm not quite sure why. He was the one that started in the pit lane, so he's quite far down and might be lapped already. But Jay Garrett sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and Crosby's returned to the pit lane there, so that's his race over already. 7.93 and 14 are down there too, so something major was to happen to them. I think it was Campbell who had a massive problem by selective drive, and it wasn't letting him, unfortunately for him. So Ewan continues to lead. Jay Garrett continues to lead ahead of Ewan in P2. Christian in third place with Verstappen in fourth. Then we've got ILT Phil in P5 ahead of Kevin. Kevin's made quite a few places too. Up there in P6, I believe he started outside the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, but he's hunted down by Dunley just further behind too. And Lindwern, who's in 8th place, followed by Eckholt. Harry Palmer's gained 3 places there from P13 to inside that top 10. But I think Zaitsev is all over the back of him. I think he is. No, Harry Palmer's all over the back of Eckholt, who's pushed him under pressure, and he looks to go down the inside, but not enough room there to make a move on that occasion, so he has to stay behind him as we go through the right-hander once again. And the Honda driver who started up there in P4 is down as a P18, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him, because he went wide somewhere in the first setup. I didn't realise he lost a lot of places. Did somebody spin? No, let's see. They're drifting through the corners, as you can see. They're really fast, the car with Sieb. I noticed in the practice sessions that Sieb was resting his car in the slow speed corners. He just couldn't get the car to turn or slow down, and he's been fighting with it ever since, hence why he's down there in qualifying and here in the race as well. So Jay continues to lead ahead of Human Sport by 1 second, followed by Christian in P3. Phil in P4 ahead of Verstappen in P5 as they all blast down the straight, going down into turn 1 there, with Lindworm in P8. Anybody looking for a move up the inside into turn 1? Everybody's quite far back as we head down into turn 1. No moves being made whatsoever. Campbell and C are scrapping over P20 and P21. As you can see, the tyres squealing as he logs up on the brakes into turn 12. But here we are then on board with Ewan Small, who had the pace back in Imola, and he drove away from everybody, where Jake Garrett was in P6. Then he ended up spinning at the Vernon chicane, but here he is, the leading ahead of Ewan Small. Christian in P3 for his first race this season, doing quite well with Phil in P4. As we follow through then, the number 116 car trying to extend his gap over the 10 car, as Ewan did really cut that corner, didn't he, in the slow speed section, and I thought he was going to go out wide by doing that, but he hasn't. So trying to use every single bit of track Ewan can try and close on Jay Garrett, but Jay Garrett looks like he's got this time covered. The gap is about 8 tenths, and it's quite difficult to overtake in the general around here or in ACC itself. So we're really close, but not close enough, unfortunately. What's happening further down the field? Looks like Wichtrup has lost a few positions. He's down there in P13. Tope in. He puts his Beamer up into P12, 5 tenths away from Zaitsev. There he is in the Ford Mustang, being hunted down by Tope in P12. But Ewan Small in the background, and who is that going to go for a move? Looks like Dudley's putting pressure on Kevin in front of him. It was the other way around. Verstappen is under pressure as Kevin there tries to go around the outside into turn 1. But we know that Verstappen will have it covered on the inside, and therefore Kevin can't find a move. It's a close battle for P5, 6 and 7, with Dunley looking in the background there. Can he try and find a way past on this battle too, as we head now towards turn 4 we go, through the right-hander section. Looks like Christian is starting to be detached from the top 2 then. He's got a bit of a gap behind him by 3 seconds there. So Christian there in P3 bothered by anybody else. There's a bit of tap there from Kevin, I think, and Verstappen. What happened there? He's gone for a spin. Who is that down to the field? The spinning, quite sure who it was. I have no idea who that is, unfortunately, unless it was Kevin. Yeah, it is Kevin. Kevin was the one who went for a spin, and he's fallen down the order now. I'm not quite sure where he is, but he is frustrated. There is Kevin. I wonder, did Verstappen and him make contact as he hits the wall in frustration and gets back on the circuit once again, falling down the order dramatically, as I have to wait for the timing sheets to be updated. There he is, dropping down the left-hand side of your screen. To what position though? As he looks like he was doing good so far, as looks like Verstappen is now putting pressure on Phil ahead of him. So Phil is losing time and pace towards Christian, although there is a car in between us. Not quite sure who that car is there. Let's have a look at the chat map. I think it's a lapped car of number 72. Is that Seaboard Gamer in the way there? Hopefully get blue flag. It is number 4. I'm not quite sure who that is. No, it isn't a lap car, sorry. I don't know why I said that. I get confused between all the graphics here in ACC. It is quite confused. I really wish they updated the timing sheets all the time to constant like it is in Formula 1. But the top two of Ewan Small and Jake Garrett left alone to fight it out to see who will get a top. Ewan Small taking a little bit of time out of Jake Garrett's advantage, but where is the best place to overtake around here? Probably down into turn 1 if you get a good exit out the final corner. But somebody else, there's contact going on there in the midfield, and that's Lindworm. Is that Fisher? It is. That's Phil, who's also made contact there. So Phil, who was running up into P4, has now dropped himself outside, almost outside the top 10. So is Witchtrup as well, so there's a bit of contact there between the two. If this was F1, I'd be catching every single bit of it, but it's currently ACC, so it is quite hard to follow through because the timing sheets on the left-hand side don't update constantly. You've got to wait for like a split sector for up to date all the time. So it's not accurate 100% of the time. As Panda Play says, hi Nathan. Thomas down there running down in P19. I think Fisher is falling down the order once again after that spin. So not much going on there. I'm looking at the form map to see what's going on. They're quite evenly spread out. There is a battle further down the field. Hope Jacob is giving you great hospitality, says Panda. So we look at the top two once again to see that Ewan Small hunted down Jake Garrett, but where can he try and strike a move? It can be quite difficult as well. As you can see in the format, there is a scrap going on down there between the 3-2-1 car of Zaitsev, Tope and Evangel getting all close. Remember, Evangel spun early on in this race too, didn't he? And now he's up there in P10 again. So despite spinning early doors this race, he found himself back into P10. And hello, it's Panda. I've not watched the ACC race. I didn't even know where. I didn't read that because I heard somebody squidding their tyres. I think somebody's lost a place. I think Eckhart has lost a place towards Zaitsev. So what's happened there to Eckhart then? He's lost a place towards Zaitsev and he's quite far behind too. So it must have been made a mistake somewhere on the circuit. But there's a massive gap started to form now between all these guys. And the gap is over a second between Ewan Small and Jake Garrett and Christian. Oh, he's got wide and he's hit the advertising board as well, has Ewan Small, and it will definitely lose a lot of time there. Just outbroke himself into turn 12, and Christian will be all over the back of him now, sensing that P2. Jake Garrett has been relieved, and he could pull away now from Ewan Small in P2 as he crosses the line once again to complete lap 6 in this Grand Prix. Ewan Small has got anything to respond with. The gap is now 1.1 and the gap is 1.7 just behind us with Christian there in P3. Starts to get dark on the circuit too with the lights on. There's no floodlights I think around this circuit like there is in Bahrain, Qatar and all the other tracks that are raced in the dark. And as you can see in P6, Jay Dunley is starting to hunt down Harry Palmer. Harry Palmer has slowly but surely gained his way through the field after other people's misfortune, especially with contact between different people. We've seen about 4 or 5 drivers now making contact with each other, and Harry Palmer's gained from that, although he's got Jay Dunley right behind him, putting big pressure on there. So let's see if Harry Palmer can defend, but I think Dunley might go up the inside. That's a horrible camera angle as Harry Palmer goes out wide then, but as you can see, Dunley has got a lot more confidence in his McLaren to try and overtake the other McLaren of Harry Palmer. So let's see if he can do that. Where is his best place to strike as we go towards the short straight? Here's a move coming up on the inside. He's got the slipstream. Is he close enough to make a lunge though? No, he's not. He has to stay behind for the time being. And the move wasn't on between Dunley and Palmer. But you can sense that Harry Palmer is in a bit of danger behind of Dunley. You've got to watch out for him as the McLaren driver, the number 28, will constantly put him under all sorts of pressure. The gap extends between the top two of Jake Garrett and Ewan Small by 2 seconds. So it looks like the Lamborghini now has checked out in front. And it's a big credential day for Jake Garrett after he spun in the Verona chicane a week ago. And Meneses in P12 is starting to put pressure now on the BMW. Here he is, pulls alongside, and here comes the Honda on the inside, and he forces the BMW to outbrake himself. He's still there on the inside, but he covers that off for the time being and does the BMW. And now the number 1 driver trying to overtake the number 33 driver of Wichtrup. Good defending there from the BMW driver, holding the inside line for the next corner and keeping ahead of the Honda behind him. But as you can see, the Honda had great pace in qualifying and tried to make amends after his early spin in the opening laps of this Grand Prix. And is he close to make a move up the inside? He's thinking about it, but not close enough to make that lunge, as Wichtrup has to stay in P11 for the time being. But it's under massive pressure, as you can see there. The Honda very confident through the corners as he carried a lot more speed through that section in the slow speed corners in the first sector. There is a queue starting to form up now between the 4 drivers. So looks like Wichtrup has got Hansen and the 4 driver of Mahali in P14 there, but it looks like you can see the Honda driver really getting close there, but he goes a bit wide. And now here comes Hansen, the McLaren driver, looking to make his way past. Can he do it on this short straight? But it looks like the Honda driver's got some decent exit out of there. And now he's alongside Wichtrup. Will he go around the outside? Let's have a look. You can see defending is the BMW driver, not the best camera angle I'm displaying right now, but he's not able to get past still. And here comes Hansen, who goes up the inside, and he overtakes the Honda too. What a good move there. The Honda is down into P13, so trying to make a move, but lost one in the process. As Wichtrup's defending has been really great so far, but how long can he keep it up? Josh Evandro is starting to put pressure on Tope ahead of him. By the way, Josh and Tope, those two who were further down the field, a few laps to go down there, P16 to P17, they're up to the inside the top 10. So there's been a lot of action going on for the whole field. And here comes Evandro, pulls the right side, and will he be confident on the brakes? In the background you can see that Wichtrup is under pressure once again, and here comes the beam up the inside of the McLaren driver, makes that move stick and puts himself up into P9. Further behind though you can see that Wichtrup is under pressure once again as the Honda driver goes side by side with the McLaren driver, but the BMW outbreaks himself once again like he did in turn 1. Further behind, Hansen's defending from Mahali behind, so we've got 2 different groups scrapping it out for position. But look at Meneses trying to look for a way past, but still can't do it, despite being so close. As Zaitsev is under pressure, I think he's got past, has he? As he won't let me spectate. There we go. So Eccles under pressure from Zaitsev right behind. So we've got some good battles going on through the whole field there. Not a battle for P1, but the battle for the midfield is looking very interesting between all these guys. Just looking for a way past, trying to go around the outside, trying to carry the speed through the slow speed corners, but not enough space there to go alongside. It must be really frustrating for some of these guys. But here we are then. The Honda goes up the inside of the BMW, who goes out wide, and he finally makes the move past. Great move there from the Honda driver to put himself up into P11. Now the Wichtrup is under pressure from the McLaren right behind. And once again, Dunley is still putting pressure on Harry Palmer in front of him. So Harry Palmer hold on to P5 just by the skin of his teeth, but he just can't seem to pull away from Dunley behind. As we go on to lap 9 now in this Grand Prix, 45 minutes left to go in this race. Still got plenty of laps to go in this Grand Prix just to see if anything can happen around here. Looks like Ewan Small can't keep a good tension of Jake Garrett, so Jake Garrett has pulled away and Ewan Small is not able to respond, but he is responding though to Christian, because the gap was 1.8 a few laps ago. Now it's 3 point, as we come to see checkpoint, 3.5 seconds. So Ewan Small is gaining lap time on Christian ahead of him or behind him, but in terms of being in front, he's not able to bring that gap down, as Jake Garrett looks like he's got this under control. The number 116 driver, the Lamborghini, doing a fantastic job so far of keeping that P1 and making no mistakes. However though, there's a big battle going on. I think Josh Evandro now has got past Zaitsev, which he has, and he puts himself up to P8, so didn't quite see where that happened, but he has put himself up into 8th place ahead of the Ford Mustang driver, of Tope as well, following through shortly as he continues to put pressure on Zaitsev ahead of him too. Been a decent race so far, although not a battle for the lead in the midfield there, so it's really nice to see as well that we get some good racing action. Obviously we had the 24 hours of Le Mans too. Congratulations to the Ferrari team for winning that team. I think had a problem with Robert Schwartzman. I'm not quite sure what the problem was, but I heard that Robert Kubica was leading the Grand Prix ahead of Nick Nielsen. And it was Nick Nielsen's team who won as well as they crossed the line in P1 ahead, I think, of the Toyota in P2. So not a good day either for Alpine Supercar, as they encountered problems with themselves. But it's a good day for one of the Ferrari teams. The main works Ferrari team, but the customer team had a bit of problems. Not quite sure what the problems were, but it's unlucky to those guys because Kubica was leading the Grand Prix for quite a bit with Nick Nielsen fighting behind him too. But when they swapped to Robert Schwartzman, something happened. I'm not quite sure what it was, whether it was a technical problem or a driver problem or not, but it's a shame for them guys. Robert Kubica, obviously a former Formula 1 driver back in 2010, sorry. Don't know why I pronounced that weirdly, but a one-time race winner back at the Canadian Grand Prix. He actually missed this race here in Indianapolis in 2007 due to his massive crash in Canada a week before. Then replaced by the legend Sebastian Vettel, who replaced him in the BMW Sauber. And it was a great battle between Hamilton and Alonso back in 2007 when they were teammates here in McLaren. It's not McLaren leading, it's a Lamborghini. We've got some McLarens inside the top 10. And Ewan Small trying to close that gap down, but is not able to do so. Jake Garrett looks like he's very comfortable. Although he has gained about 4 tenths on this lap alone, he's still got 40 minutes left to go to try and bring that gap down. All it takes is one mistake for Jake Garrett, and Ewan's right there once again. But Ewan will be absolutely fuming with himself with that mistake he did at turn 12. Ewan Small was dominating in Imola, but here in Indianapolis, a completely different story. He has to work for it this time. Oh, Kevin spun, unfortunately, down there in P12. And where is that? That's coming out of the left-hander before the main straight. So Kevin once again has gone for a spin. I'm not quite sure if it was contact this time or he just plainly lost it by himself. Looks like Harry Palmer has dropped Dudley too, because Dudley was putting him under massive pressure only about a couple of laps ago, and all of a sudden Harry Palmer's found some pace to keep the McLaren right behind him too. However, Josh Evandro all over the back of Eckholt. He overtook Zaitsev a few laps ago, but this time he's started to put pressure on Eckholt in front of him. And let's see where Josh could strike. It was a one-star race back at the Imola Grand Prix. I think it'll be the same here in Indianapolis. And we saw other people extend their stint as well, despite being on older tyres. And here is Josh drifting through the corners, only a few tenths behind Eckholt in P7. Eckholt had a decent race too back in Imola, but I believe he had contact with somebody in Imola. I'm not quite sure who it was at the time. Josh is getting ever so close behind the McLaren driver. It's a McLaren scrap here for P5, 6, 7 and 8, followed by the Ford Mustang right behind. But it looks like Josh has got some more confidence in the Buzz Lightyear car against Eckholt. So let's see when Josh can make that move soon. Anything else happening down here in the midfield? Campbell, who had to start in the pit lane, he's up into P17 ahead of Kevin, who spun quite a few times in this Grand Prix, and Phil is up to P21. So Seaboard Gamer unfortunately is out of this Grand Prix then, so we won't see any more of him for the time being. So it's not the debut he wants. But look at that, the McLaren Eccles goes wide and Josh slips through and he overtakes him, does he? I think he has. Yes, he has. He puts himself up into P7, and that slight mistake from Eckholt cost him a place there towards Josh, and now he's into P8. Let's see if Zaitsev can make a move on Eckholt in front of him. Just went slightly wide, and that was enough for Josh to go through and take P7 away. So the gap now is 7.8 between himself and Dudley. Let's see if we can try and catch up on the rest of the field. I think Jay Garrett sets another fast lap of the Grand Prix. There he is, the man who's leading the Grand Prix. Looks untroubled so far. The front got a decent gap, over 4 seconds. And as you can see, the gap is constant too. It's not like you got to wait for a mini sector where it has to update every few seconds. So I don't understand this. Ewan Small is in the pit lane. So he's gone for an early pit stop, has Ewan Small. He's in the pit lane to get rid of his tyres, I presume, and put some more fuel in the car to take towards the end of the Grand Prix. But I really don't like this mode. I only like it to go on board with people, to get on different camera angles like this. But at the same time, when you try and flick through drivers, it goes onto different people relatively, if that makes sense. I'm not quite sure how to explain it properly. I don't even know what that means, you know. But there's Phil in P21. What happened to him? Did he spin a few laps ago? He was up inside the top 10. I believe he made contact with somebody. That's why he's down there in P21. As I return to garage to try and focus. So where's Human Small rejoin? There he is in P11 with a fresh set of boots and more fuel in the car. And trust me, it's a very long pit lane. You lose a lot of time. I'm not quite sure what the pit lane lost around here. Like a minute or so? I'm not quite sure. But here he is. They're crawling out the pit lane about 50 kilometers an hour, I believe it is so far. So he slowly makes his way out the pit lane. It must feel like a really long time. You must feel like you've lost the race because of this, being in the pit lane. You're just stranded while the rest of the guys are streaking away. As he'll get out the pit lane very shortly with you and Small, and off he goes. Then the pit lane feeds right into the race, so you be very careful when you make the way out. When you make the way out the pit lane, otherwise contact can be made. Because as you saw, it cuts turn 1. But feeds straight into turn 2, so you can be very careful how you approach the pit lane exit. You've got to keep an eye on your map there. I'm not quite sure what the rules are in terms of the pit lane exit. You've got to mitigate your way through around the traffic if you do encounter any out of the pit lane. So let's see if an early pit stop has played into the hands of Human Small. Will that help him bring the gap down towards Jay Garrett? And will Jay Garrett respond on the next lap or so? Here he is, Jay Garrett, absolutely untroubled at the front of the field there. AP1 got no competition behind, and Christian is quite far behind as we see the gap now. Anytime soon, what is the gap between Christian and himself? They're both in the Lamborghini. 10 seconds is the gap, so that's a big gap there between Garrett and Christian. Followed by Verstappen in P3. Verstappen has had a quiet race so far, not really been involved in much in this Grand Prix. But it's looking good so far for Verstappen in a net P4. And Josh Evanjo has brought the gap down to 6.9. So I think it was 7.8 between himself and Dunley. So he started to take a bit of time out of Dunley's advantage. And with 36 minutes left to go, can he catch the other McLaren driver? Which is the question. And Jay Garrett looks like he's gone for another lap or so. No, he's not. He's coming towards the final corner right now. And Jay Garrett does not go in the pit lane. So he feels comfortable staying out there to try and extend on those tyres. So I wonder why Ewan made that early pit stop where they try and bring the gap down towards Jay Garrett, try and undercut him and get as the lead of the Grand Prix, although he might struggle later on with the pace that Jay Garrett has so far and the tyre advantage he will have. So Ewan is coming up towards Son now for P18, so he needs to smash in quickly as he can to not lose any more time towards Jay Garrett in P1 there. Continues to set fastest lap after fastest lap so far. Campbell got Kevin all over the back of him. Those two have been scrapping away ever since Kevin spun, and he's still behind. We've got the Honda and the McLaren of Dunley in the pit lane too to put some more fuel in the car, and we'll see their pace towards the end of the Grand Prix. How will this play out for them as they were on the top 10? He was fighting Harry Palmer, was Dunley. So they're going to drop to the back of the field while they get the car serviced, and we'll see then how their strategy unfolds later on in the race. Is Verstappen catching Christian? I don't think he is for the time being. I think he's started to lose time towards Christian too. So Harry Palmer looks like he's started to close in slowly towards Verstappen's advantage. So it could be a very interesting battle between those two if there is a battle going on. Lindwern is starting to catch Harley as well for P10. My nose is blocked again, unfortunately, because of hay fever. So apologies if I got a funny voice, because my nose is blocked once again. Obviously this time next Sunday I will play football, but I will be back for commentary, don't you worry. And Jay Garrett is in the pit lane to get his car serviced. So let's see where you and Small will rejoin in comparison towards is a stop and go penalty for somebody else as well. I don't know who that was because they didn't quite see it on the screen. My screen needs readjusted because the whole picture is not in the screen. Unfortunately, the screen size, even though it's a massive TV I'm watching on, the whole picture, it does not fit in the screen. So I need to readjust that because it is quite annoying because I can't see certain information I need to see. So Tope follows in the pit lane too. Where's Ewan Small going to rejoin? He's catching up to a bit of traffic. Will Jake Garrett encounter a bit of traffic when he gets out of the pit lane? Here we go then, coming towards, I think, turn 12 right now on this short straight. Do you know what? I don't think this track, if that part of the section wasn't closed off, I wish we had that long straight around here in Indianapolis because it could be very interesting, more slipstreaming, but I think for safety reasons we can't have that. But where's Ewan Small then? Where's Jake Garrett? We'll go aboard with Jake Garrett right now. Has he been undercutted by Ewan Small? Let's have a look as we go down into turn 1. I think Jake Garrett's got him covered, you know, which he has. Still rejoins in the lead of the Grand Prix, and unfortunately for Ewan then, it's not worked out in his favour. Try and catch Jake Garrett. So Garrett, number 116, rejoins in P11. And Ewan Small is in P14. He's got 2 cars in between himself and Garrett. Do you know what, Garrett? Is this Ewan go for a move on Son? He's too far behind. But these ACC graphics really do catch me out, you know, sometimes. So Verstappen has entered the pit lane too. Currently in the net P4 is QVR Verstappen. But here comes Ewan on the back of Son, not able to make the move. Could be very patient, but here he is up the inside, and he takes that inside line very nicely, and he gets ahead of Son. But Son looks like he's trying to fight back, but he can't quite do it, as the Nissan driver has to stay behind for the time being. So Christian leads them away ahead of Harry Palmer, who's being hunted down by Josh. No, that's not Josh. That's I think it is a lapped car, so I don't think that car is in a battle with anybody, is he? So Palmer is safe. By the way, if I am missing out some battles, I really do apologise. My second time commentating, so I'm not used to all these graphics just yet. And that's Dudley then, who's behind Harry Palmer. Weren't those two scrapping earlier on in this race? They were, weren't they? And is that Harry Palmer in front of us? Yeah. So despite these two scrapping a few laps to go, Harry Palmer has just lapped Dudley, but considering it's a long pit lane, I think Dudley will be back where he is once they make their pit stops. That's how long the pit lane is. That's how big the pit lane loss is. Unless, obviously, Dudley could have picked up some damage and repaired that. But I can't believe how big the pit lane loss is around here. Because those two, only about a few minutes ago, were fighting for track position, and now he's lapped him. Which is quite very interesting indeed. He's only about 1.8 seconds behind him before he made that pit stop. So there is Verstappen then, who has made his way out of the pit lane in P13, the number 78, who's got nobody around him so far. So it is quite a lonely race for Verstappen, as Christian and Zaitsev have come into the pit lane to put some more fuel in their car and change tyres. So Harry Palmer continues to lead then. He extend on that McLaren. We'll see how it pays off for him. Josh is 8 seconds behind. Josh in a scrap there with a with a lap car.
Keep it up.
And we are halfway through this Grand Prix then, so 30 minutes has passed by. We've had some decent races so far, a few people spinning now and then, especially Kevin. Ewan Small has got past Hodgman, but Hodgman is in the pit lane, so it doesn't matter anyway. And Verstappen, where is he? He's down there in P13, all currently by himself, but I think he is in a battle with Harry Palmer once Palmer makes his pit stop. I think the main battle is for the last podium spot. No, I don't think so. I think the battle is between P4 and P5, because obviously Christian was the man who was holding P3 and nobody was challenging him in this Grand Prix. So Christian has been alone here. There he is, just rejoins, misses turn 1 and it cuts into the track immediately in the pit lane. Campbell versus Kevin, and those two at the back of the field, remember, not so long ago. And what's happened there? What's Kevin doing? He's taken out... has he got some damage? Has he spun again? It's been a shock of a race for Kevin. He's still got to make a pit stop to put some more fuel in the car. So yeah, not a good race or day for Kevin whatsoever, unfortunately for the Frenchman in the BMW. He was fighting in the top 6, but I think he made contact with somebody, didn't he? As Josh Eckholt and Harry Palmer have now pitted, and 966 stop-go penalty has been cleared. So whoever that was, their stop-go penalty has been cleared. So that was Mahali down in P21 who picked up that stop-go penalty. It's weird seeing my name down there, Jay Morris, at the bottom of the screen. By the way, my real name is Jamie Morris, if for those guys who are wondering who the commentator is here tonight. The Norwegian boys are not real. I think Eckholt, is he Norwegian? Sorry about that, I went onto the wrong screen there, but yeah. Whereas, I think Eckholt is Norwegian or Swedish, isn't he? Jorgensen is not racist now, that's the one I'm thinking of. Jorgensen is not racist now, unfortunately. And Kevin and Campbell, looks like they're scrapping away again for P2 and P3, so... Campbell, Kevin, we did see him off the track a few moments ago, but all of a sudden he's got himself back into P2. And Harry Palmer's rejoining P6 as Josh Evans, Evandro, has got himself a stop-go penalty, unfortunately for him. So he was doing so well, getting himself back to the field after that early spin in the opening laps of this Grand Prix, and now he's picked himself up a penalty. It's going to be detrimental towards the end because him and Tope were making their way through the field together. That's Tope's down in P14, but I'm not quite sure if he's pitted yet or not. But in all honesty, I'm not quite sure how Kevin and Campbell are back together after Kevin making a mistake and hitting the barriers. But they've got Jake Garrett, the race leader, on their tail, which Shrub has not pitted yet in this Grand Prix. And that was the problem when we disconnected last week, because we couldn't quite work out what was going to happen in terms of the race results, because some people didn't pit, but well, that race has been forgotten because the results don't count anyway. So in the pit lane comes Kevin for his first stop, I believe. Harry Palmer is currently 11 seconds away from Christian in P6 there. There he is, Christian, followed by some back markers right behind. And Ewan Small currently the net race leader. No, he isn't. It's Jake Garrett, sorry, the net race leader in P3. Jake Garrett has done a fantastic job so far in this Grand Prix. And he currently leads Ewan by 4 seconds. So not put a foot wrong has Jake Garrett in the McLaren, or the Lamborghini, sorry. Started to hunt down Campbell and Rich Trupp on the older tyres, of course. They haven't pitted yet of Campbell. Although Campbell did start the race in the pit lane, didn't he? Because he couldn't press drive, unfortunately. So Campbell from the pit lane up into P2, but obviously he's still got a pit stop to make. We've got Verstappen versus Palmer now. So Harry Palmer has actually got ahead of Verstappen, and I believe Verstappen was ahead of him. Oh, Verstappen's made a mistake there. What happened to him? Did he have a massive slide at the corner? He has, hasn't he? So Verstappen has had a huge moment out of the corner of, I think it's turn number 4 or 5. And now that gives a bit of breathing space towards Harry Palmer. Harry Palmer is able to pull away. Oh, he's made a mistake! As I say that, Harry Palmer has cut the grass there, unfortunately. And where is Verstappen? There he is. Verstappen might take P7 away from him again as they go side by side. And Harry Palmer just holds on to that. That's the first mistake I've seen him do so far in this race. Under pressure as we head down towards turn 12. Is Verstappen alongside him? No, he's not. Has to bail out that one as he wasn't close enough to make it on the brakes ahead of Harry Palmer. But yes, these two have made mistakes in different parts of the track, and now they're back together again. But I wonder how Harry Palmer jumped Verstappen when he made his pit stop, because I think Verstappen was a long way ahead of him. But here he is, Verstappen goes to the right side then as it continues to get darker and darker. Here comes Verstappen alongside Harry Palmer as he goes into turn 1. I think Verstappen has got this move. Surely he has. But Harry Palmer will be looking for ways back, of course. As you can see, almost alongside him out of turn 3 there, as he follows him going into this right-hander we go. So it's an interesting battle there for Harry Palmer and Verstappen for P6 and P7. Let's see which one of these two make it out on top of each other, of course. So here we are then. In the pit lane comes a lapped car. As Jake Garrett, no, that's not a pit lane, sorry, that's a lap car getting out of the way for somebody. But Jake Garrett then up into P2 leads. We've got Phil putting pressure. I think he's just got past Hudson, which he has. So Hudson has been passed by Phil. It looks like Harry Palmer is able to stick with the pace of Verstappen ahead of him. J. Van Vianen in P6. Sorry Verstappen if I said your name wrong. I've known you for a long time, for about 4 or 5 years, and I still can't say your name out. But Harry Palmer just almost went to the back of him there. Seb de Magel retired early doors in this Grand Prix. We didn't have a good qualifying session either, did Seb. But Harry Palmer is still putting pressure on Verstappen ahead of us, as Verstappen pulls out to the right side to protect the racing line on the inside line for turn 1. Harry Palmer hasn't got quite the straight line speed he needs to try and overtake Verstappen. Or has he? No, he hasn't. Did he get the switchback though, because Verstappen's gone out wide? And Harry Palmer's able to try and take different lines, try and carry more speed through the corners. Easy close to go alongside Verstappen. As we make our way now into turn 4, he's alongside him, but he goes a bit wide, and therefore Verstappen stays ahead of him. So the battle is brewing up between P7 and P8 so far, between Verstappen and Palmer. Verstappen just holding on there, despite outbreaking himself and going out wide. Once this race has ended, I will go back to watching the boys. I was a bit traumatised before I was commentating here, for those who don't know the boys, on Amazon Prime right now. So Rich Trupp continues to lead the Grand Prix then. He hasn't pitted at all in the BMW. He's being hunted down by Jake Garrett. Jake Garrett will have a massive pace advantage, of course, being on the fresher tyres. But Jake Garrett doing a great job so far in P2. He's still hunted down Rich Trupp with 20 minutes left to go in the race. As Harry Palmer has got a drive-through penalty, which I didn't notice. So he has got a drive-through. And Josh is in P21. As he's fallen all the way down there in the lower end of the field, after having a penalty early doors in the Grand Prix 2. Now Harry Palmer once again putting pressure for Verstappen ahead of him, but this time round he's a bit too far back to make any sort of impression on him. Son is losing places because he's in the pit lane. Josh is in the pit lane too to serve his stop-go penalty of 30 seconds, which is a long time. He is lapped and potentially now his race has been finished. It's brutal when you get stop-go penalties, especially in ACC, because it takes ages, a lifetime, to get served. Considering it's only a long pit lane too, you're losing a lot of time. And he's not going to be anywhere anytime soon. As Jake Garrett though is 2.1 seconds away from Rich Trupp. I don't think it's a mandatory one-stop, is it? Unless those guys can correct me, but he's gone out wide. I thought he was going to go with the pit lane. He's made a mistake at turn 13 as Rich Trupp, and Jake Garrett knows he doesn't have to take any risk against the BMW because he's on much older tyres. So Jake Garrett should bide his time and wait for the opportunity to present itself to overtake him. But will he be late at the brakes into turn 1, I wonder, as he gets to start dark again. Here we are, Jake Garrett on the inside into turn 1. And that was a relatively easy move there for Garrett. No trouble at all, which he didn't need. And he puts himself up into P1 once again. Ewan Small is the car behind there in P3. Both in the Beamer is Rich Trupp and Ewan Small. So, same engine, same brand, the same car, of course. Anything else happening down in the field? We've got Kevin in P11, followed by Phil in P12. Hansen in 13th ahead of Campbell. There's not many people close to each other, are they, as I look at the full map? I keep forgetting to look at the full map, you know, because that'll give me an idea of where people are. And despite wearing glasses, my eyesight is absolutely terrible because I can barely see the map, even though it's on my screen, on the wide TV. And Harry Palmer is in the pit lane to serve his drive-through penalty. So let's see where he rejoins. Maybe down into P11 behind Kevin. We'll see where he rejoins then out of the pit lane. And Ewan Small is starting to catch Wistrup now for P2. So Wistrup, 18 minutes left to go in this race. Hasn't made a pit stop yet. As looks like the number 7 car has cleared his driver penalty of Harry Palmer. But are you allowed to go through the whole race without making a pit stop? Is that in the rules to make a pit stop? Because what I heard last week, if the results were going to be dictated by people who haven't made a pit stop or something added to their time. However though, Wistrup has gone the whole race without pitting. 25 laps, not pitted just yet. So his tyres must be on the brink of falling off, as Ewan Small is all over the back of the BMW driver. Ewan was quite frustrated though, because there you can see that Wistrup going wide though, and that's the door opened up for Ewan Small saying thank you very much mate, I'll take that one, no problem whatsoever. Now Christian behind will follow through too. It'd be nice to interview Jay Garrett, Ewan Small and Christie, because I don't think I've interviewed them at all. I've commentated with Jay Garrett before back in CRL season 9 I think it was, but I've never interviewed them despite them playing F1. I know Smalley Balls has had a podium or two in F1, but I had to end the stream early because I had to go to bed as I had to work the next day because it started at 8:30. And if Nathan and AJ are watching, please start at 8 o'clock because that's the ideal time. 8:30 for me is a bit too late, and for everybody else as well. So it looks quite quiet so far between all these guys. Verstappen running alone in P5. The guy behind him, of course, is a lap car. Kevin's still in P10 despite all his mistakes he's done so far in his Grand Prix. So where would Kevin been if he didn't know his mistakes? Because he's up into P10, and despite everything he's gone through during this race, he's still inside the top 10, which is incredible. Although the guys behind, to be fair to them, have had their own problems with penalties, mistakes and spins, etc. Every single driver has had their share fair so far mistakes. Except Jake Garrett, I think. Verstappen went out wide a few times as well. I'm not really... Oh, no, I don't want to do that, do I? I almost pressed confirm. I was going to report rotation for bad behaviour cheating. I almost pressed confirm, so I'm glad I read that before I did it because I thought it said something else. But anyways, I don't know how I did that. Imagine that if I reported him for cheating. Oof. Put some points in his licence. For a second, I thought I got reported for cheating until I read it properly. Oh, it says at the bottom of the screen it says profile and report, so I'm going to make sure I don't press that that square button ever again, because I'm not going to report anybody, obviously. Hansen and Campbell, they're going 3 abreast on the straight, and which one of these 3 will get ahead of each other? We'll find out soon. Looks like Harry Palmer is in the middle of these 2. Hansel is on the inside, and Campbell's on the inside, sorry. Here we go, into turn 1 we go! Oh, that was so close there as Hansen came from the outside line and carried the speed through. So Palmer was in the middle, has lost a place there. Hansel swung around the outside and puts himself up into P12. Nice 3 abreast moment going there as Campbell's putting pressure on Palmer in front of him. Here he is up the inside. Did he make that move stick? They're still side by side, coming out the corner as we go down into turn 4 we go. And it's not a good camera angle, is it? But we'll have to deal with so far as the Scotsman stays behind the man from up north in Manchester. Harry Palmer just defends from Campbell out behind, and Hansen is pulling away, but Campbell is still looking for ways to get past. Looks like he's got more straight line speed in comparison towards the McLaren, and here he is around the outside. Can he make the move stick into left-hander? We go. Palmer's still there on the inside, but Campbell has the racing line. He bounces over the curve too, and he puts himself up into P14. So nice little scrap there going off for P12. And despite these 2 fighting, Hansen has pulled away just a bit too. Just inch forward, but Campbell looks like he got some decent pace ahead of Harry Palmer. Nice stuff indeed between those guys there. And it looks like Human Small cannot keep up with the man in P1. However, though, Christian's still got some work to do in P3 because I don't think Witch Trup is pitting. I don't think it's in the rules to pit, is it? I didn't read the rules because I don't ever read the rules. But yeah, I'm not quite sure if you have to make a pit stop or not. So if Witch Trup doesn't have to make a pit stop, he's got 13 minutes trying to defend against Christian in P4. Christian, before that pit stop, has been running in the podium all this time, so he will not be wanting to give that podium easily just yet, will he? In P4, but he is gaining by rate of knots too, so he should be starting to catch Witch Trup in about a few laps time. Be all over the back of him soon. Sorry. And Glowstick says it's a mandatory pit stop. So yeah, Witch Trup does have to pit, but why is he leaving out so late? Is he not losing time towards his rivals? Or does he not know he has to pit? But it is a mandatory pit stop, so Witch Trup does have to pit. But he's leaving it out there way too late. The longer he leaves it out there, the less time he'll try and close in and be back of his rivals. Flicking on board with different drivers to see how they get along during this Grand Prix. But we've seen some decent races so far here in Indianapolis. Nice to be racing back on the circuit, of course. My first time commentating on the circuit, but here we go then. Quite tight going down there between Hansen and Campbell. Campbell is putting massive pressure on Hansen in front of him. Followed by Harry Palmer too, so it looks like an interesting battle for P12 going on. But Christian does not have to worry because he's 1.6 behind Witch Trup, so he's getting at him at a rate of knots so far. But as we head down towards turn 1, Hansel still the leader of this pack. Who is that? I went on board, but here he is, Campbell up the inside, lays the brakes, and he takes P12 away from Hansen. But who was that I just went on board with? I think on board with somebody different, I'm not quite sure who it was, but Josh Evandro is still in the pit lane, so I think he's staying there for the time being. Just spectating like me. What's going off then for the whole field? Because it starts to get confusing now. Somebody's off the road there, and that's Hansen who went off the road, and Harry Palmer is ahead of him too. There's a battle going on somewhere else as well. I'm not quite sure where it is. Somewhere else there's a battle going on. There it is, the battle for P16. I thought I saw yellow cars. The Honda, I think somebody's made contact with somebody and they're going off the track. Where are they? It's not the best camera angles, is it, in the world? But whoever that was, that's Lindworm who's gone for a spin, and he's got some damage to his bonnet too. So that's a shame there. Must have hit the wall very hard too. But Christian then has got ahead of Witch Trup, which I didn't see because he was 1.6 behind. But I think he's pitted now. Nobody thought out wide again has Witch Trup, so he must be really struggling on his tyres. He has to make a pit stop soon because there's only about 10 minutes left to go in this race. He has to make that pit stop, otherwise we'll get disqualified from this race. And now Verstappen is going to put pressure on him in front of him. That's the lap car who's right behind him, sorry, so it's not somebody... I think he's on pressure tyres though. But a lap car should be really careful. That's the Honda driver who's trying to overlap himself. So he's got to be really careful how he does it. I still need to watch the 24-hour race because I only watched a few hours of it, but not the whole thing. So I still need to watch. But the Honda, will he try to overtake him? It's turn 1. Yes, he will. This is for him to get away. Well, Witch Trup does outbrake himself again, but why is he not pitting? That's the question. We've got 9 minutes left in this race, and for some reason he hasn't pitted yet. Is he trying to go towards the end of this Grand Prix? He can't. Surely can't. 35-6 laps on this set of tyres, that's a long way on these tyres. They must be overheated surely now. All of his sliding out, breaking himself too, has cost him a lot. The tyre continues to generate temperature. The more he slides, the worse it gets for him, and the more it gets harder for him to cool the tyres down too, especially when they're worn out too. You're just able to bring that tyre down to the optimal temperature, and you continue sliding around, losing more grip and time And I think he's left a bit too late, you know. If he pits now, he won't have that chance to try and get himself back where he should be. He left it way too late and made too many mistakes as well. What's going on here between Eckholt, Donnelly, and Toby's just further behind in this battle too. Harry Palmer is still on the back of Campbell. Actually, Palmer's got past Hansen, and Hansen is under pressure from Son, who's flashing his lights too, as we head down towards turn 1. Easy move there, so Hansen's lost a few places, hasn't he? Started to struggle a bit. Is the McLaren drive, but Harry Palmer is still on the back of Campbell. So he's got some decent pace so far, but Campbell and Harry have had their fair share of misfortune during this Grand Prix, because I think they picked up penalties and they made mistakes as well in terms of spins, and also Campbell started from the pit lane, so those two should be higher up, but unfortunately those two had their own problems during this race, and now you can see that Harry Palmer is starting to put pressure on Campbell in front of him, but too far back to make a lunge is this left-hander after the straight. Who's that behind us? That's the lap car behind us. Oh, Harry Palmer once again goes off the track in the exact same place. So for the second time in a row, Harry Palmer has made the same mistake. So that's not his favourite corner, is it? Bounced over the curves way too much. I'm not able to try and turn the car to make the corner. And we've witnessed that twice now from Harry Palmer. He will lose time towards Campbell, of course. He did it with Verstappen a few laps ago, and now he's done it once again. He's lost a bit of time towards Campbell, as you expect. So Campbell has got a bit of breathing space, and there's your top 3 in the Grand Prix, which I haven't really mentioned. It is Jake Garrett ahead of Ewan Small and Christian Chamo in a P3, the Syrian driver, or the Swedish driver, sorry. Followed by Wichtrup, who hasn't pitted yet. There's 6 minutes left to go, and this man hasn't pitted just. Well, has he pitted? You know what? I think he has pitted, you know. No, he hasn't. He surely hasn't pitted. Does it tell me if he's made a pit stop or not? I'm not quite sure. And Josh Evandro is still in the garage then, so he's not coming out anytime soon. He's been in there for about 10 laps now. So there's a number 1 next to his name. Does that mean he has to make a pit stop? I think it does, you know. I have seen that before, and everybody else, I believe, has pitted for one reason or another due to penalties and changing tyres, but this man hasn't pitted just yet. And there's about 5 minutes left to go in this race. I have no idea why he hasn't pitted yet. He's going to get himself disqualified if he doesn't pit anytime soon. So there it is then, 6 minutes left to go in this Grand Prix, and Jake Garrett has done an absolute phenomenal job so far of leading. Fantastic job so far. 32 laps into this race. Been no troubled ever since the get-go. And the gap between himself and Ewan Small is 6.3. So Jake Garrett has had the outright pace. We did see a mistake from Ewan Small into this corner where he is right now, as he outbroke himself. But Ewan Small has done a good job himself. He wished that Imola Grand Prix would have been classified because he would have been the championship leader by now. But yeah, it hasn't quite worked out for him. So Jake Garrett, for race 2, will be the championship leader, as he's got cars in between himself. Those 2 cars are laps, of course, so there's no pressure from any of them. The number 12, who is that? That's quite far behind, isn't he? Number 12 is... can't quite find him. Well, of course, he's... oh, it's Campbell, yeah. So the number 12 is his position, isn't it? Yeah, so that's Campbell. That's Campbell who is holding up Jake Garrett. And Harry Palmer is in between them too. So Jake is in between Campbell and Palmer. I think Palmer's got his name written across the screen, hasn't he? It says PAL, which is Palmer. I really hope nothing happens there, because theoretically there should be blue flags for Campbell. He should let Jake Garrett through, but at the same time... oh, who's that? Is that Harry Palmer trying to make a move? It is, isn't it? That's Campbell, sorry. I thought Harry Palmer was trying to make a move on Jake Garrett, but I say. But once again, Harry Palmer has overtook Campbell, and he puts himself up into P12. That was a battle for P12 for position. Can Campbell respond, I wonder, in P13? Because Harry Palmer gained a lot of time, didn't he, despite that excursion off the track? And he's made his way past again of Campbell. How close is he? He's too far behind of Fisher there. And there's a yellow flag in the first set, so I'm not quite sure who that is for. Yeah, there was a slight yellow flag momentarily in the first sector, so that's disappeared for the time being. Maybe somebody stops the track and returns the garage, not quite sure. But it's a quiet race so far, not much going on. There is 3 minutes left to go in this Grand Prix. Maybe I should invite the top 3 to the podium now, shouldn't I? But obviously, I don't want to distract them. Otherwise, they'll be coming for my head. Well, Jay Garrett, Smalley, and Christian. Can't wait to interview the top 3. My first time interviewing them on ACC and Formula 1 too. But this man in P4, unfortunately, will get disqualified for not following the regulations. And despite all his hard work to be up there in P4, rules are rules, and he'll get disqualified from the race. Wasn't he the one who did the same thing in Imola? Because I remember him leading the Grand Prix in Imola, and he didn't pit either. And we were struggling to decide to see who was the race winner, because Ewan was in second place, he pitted, he was leading, but Campbell's ahead of Palmer again. He puts himself back into P12, so it's a close battle between Palmer and Campbell. But yeah, I believe Rich Trupp did the exact same thing in Imola too, so I don't think he knows it's a mandatory one stop. Obviously, he didn't get warned in Imola because he stayed out there. So once again, for the second week in a row, he hasn't followed the pit stop regulations and rules. More yellow flags in that first set, I'm not quite sure why. Haven't seen any cars on the road. Maybe a car there is going quite slowly, but Campbell outbreaks himself, and here comes Harry Palmer. Tries to go around the outside, switches lines now, and he has the better exit of Campbell. Does get the better about the exit of turn 3. Can he get him into 4? He goes around the outside, but he tries to stick around the outside as Campbell and Palmer. I think there's a bit of contact made too between those two. And Palmer does not get past Campbell, he stays behind, but he's putting him under all sorts of pressure into the slow speed corner. As you can see, Campbell taking a lot of grass on the entry too. Is that Hansen getting himself back in the battle? And here we go on the short straight once again with Harry Palmer putting pressure on Campbell in front of him, and finally he pits. Why did he leave it so late? Is that his strategy every race, just leave it so late? So he has pitted, and I'm not quite sure if he's listening to the stream or not, or people have told him to pit, whether he got a warning or not. But he's pitted so late, he will only do 1 lap on this tyre, and that'll be it. In fact, I don't know if he would even do 1 lap on this tyre, because there's about 45 seconds left to go in this race. So where will he rejoin in comparison then? I think Taupe is giving me, what's it called? I forgot what the word's called. But anyways, here he is. Rich Trupp is out of the pit lane to go into P8, and the leader is on the final lap of the Grand Prix. And Rich Trupp there rejoins in P8, so that's where he'll finish, because I think Jay Dunley is too far ahead to try and make any moves there. And here's Harry Palmer versus Campbell again, and Campbell goes up the inside of Harry Palmer as he get ever so close on the exit to those two. But this is good racing between Palmer and Campbell, and Campbell just stays in front for the time being. There is your race leader. The race has ended, and we're waiting for Jay Garrett to take the checkered flag here in Indianapolis. He's done an absolutely incredible job. After a spin at the Imola Grand Prix, he's going to claim victory here in Indianapolis and turn his look around. I think Ewan Small, he's 8 seconds back, so he's still pulling time on Ewan behind him. Jay Garrett cutting corners there. What is he doing? But anyways, keep it nice and clean for Jay Garrett, doing a fantastic job as he makes his way now towards the right-hander of turn 12. There's a car behind him, but hopefully he doesn't make any sort of silly move going into this slow speed corner. We've turned it into a night race now, as here is a Jay Garrett around in the final corner. Anytime soon you'll see the checkered flag, and the victory will be his. Jay Garrett has won the Indianapolis Grand Prix. Fantastic race from him. No mistakes at all. Very consistent. Here comes Ewan Small to round off second place in P2. And Christian Chemo will finish in P3 to round off a podium here in Indianapolis. Verstappen, a very lonely race for him, as he's got Zaitsev 10 seconds behind him. Here is Verstappen, who will finish in P4. And I might as well get the podium interviewers right now in the party. Bear with me for a few seconds before I get the people in the party. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've invited them man to the party, so we should see Jake Garrett, Ewan Small, and Christian Chamo in the podium interviews to discuss their races. Not much to talk about really, because they've had no sort of competition amongst themselves, except Ewan fights the car, but that is it. So hopefully Jake Garrett, Ewan, and Christian will join the party anytime soon. I think a few of them have joined. Smalley Rolls is in the party, so we should hear from him shortly. As I'm terrified to open this Snapchat from Scott because he wants to talk to me about something. Nope, it's all right. A picture of his dog ordering some Coke. But anyways, I think Ewan and Jake are in the party. Christian's not here, so well for him. But
what?
Oh yeah, sorry, Christian. I think you all joined at the same time, so I didn't see your name. So this is exciting because it's the first ever time I've interviewed you three ever, not only in ACC but Formula 1 too. So let's see how this goes. But yeah, we'll go for P3 upwards. So Christian, are you at let's say a lonely race down there in P3? Did you think that you had a chance for P2 when you and Smalley Balls made a mistake at turn 12 when he hit the markers?
I don't remember making a mistake at turn 12.
Not you, Ewan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah. No, I knew he had pace over me, so nah, I didn't get hopeful or anything.
I mean, there's not much to discuss, is there? Because you had a big gap behind and a big gap in front. So, what was going through your head during this whole race? Just discuss for us, please.
Yeah. Like the only thought I had in my head is like, when can this end? But yeah, pretty much that's the only thing in my head.
Lonely top three, no man's land.
And what was you expecting here in Indianapolis? Did you know that you had a strong race coming into this race?
No, I thought I was gonna be mid-pack at best. So it was a pleasant surprise.
I bet it must be boring for you down there in P3, like you said, because I bet you were desperate for the race to end, weren't you?
Yeah, I was very desperate. It was really boring. But podium is a podium. We'll take them.
Indeed, mate. Congratulations for P3 rotation for your first race of the season. And I don't know what the next race is. Do you know?
I can check that, actually, while you continue the interviews.
I want to ask you one last question before I go on to Smalley Balls.
Okay, go on.
How do you feel for the next race? What's your expectations? That's what I was going to ask, but obviously I don't know the track.
Yeah, for the next race, probably the same as this week. Just keeping expectations low for whatever
Valencia
track
next
it
week.
is. Valencia, okay, yeah,
Valencia.
I'm winning that. So, yeah, no, I'm not winning that. But top five definitely next week. That's on the cards.
Oh, Valencia, that's going to be an interesting GP. Interesting, sorry. Obviously, I think MotoGP are going to Valencia soon, so it's a good track for racing. But obviously, personally, I
Well,
don't
no one
like it.
cares about MotoGP because this is GT3 racing, but like, come on.
Thanks for your rotation. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Congrats on P3, and good luck for the next race, Christian.
Thank you.
Moving on to Ewan, and well, I thought we'll have a scrap between you and Jake in the early stages of the race, but ever since that mistake, you just couldn't really stay close to Jake. So I think you just played it out, broke yourself, didn't you, mate? Were you? I bet you were frustrated at the time, weren't you, when that happened? Before we get going, can you all put your voices to share, please? I know it was a bit late rotation, but I just want to make sure the voices are to
I'd check
share.
mine's on. I'm pretty sure mine's on.
I'm pretty sure mine's on as well.
Anyways, we'll continue. But what was going through your head, Ewan, at the time when you made that mistake? Were you able to try and compose yourself as quickly as you can? Because when you make a mistake once, you make mistakes often, but
Like,
it seems like you managed to cut yourself really quickly and pull away from rotation again.
I was about to say, it wasn't really a big mistake for me. Like, I probably wasn't really concentrating as much. I didn't really have a breaking point for that corner. I was kind of just guessing half the time, and then I, like, just got there a bit too late, realised it, and I was probably braking way later than what I should. But I was about to say, I was making quite a few mistakes behind Jake anyway in the dirt. Yeah, probably not that though, but it's probably just me being quite awful. But yeah, it's just never really raced around it to be fair. So
And I know
still have strong pace. I'm happy with.
you should be happy for yourself because I know I know you practiced here a few days ago because I was watching you, and you looked like you were
Watch me. Yeah,
struggling with the curbs, etc. So you had a few days
I was.
practice.
Yeah, I was kind of just testing the track to be fair, seeing where I can gain a lot of time in the BMW. Normally, curbs are my best friend with this car, but clearly not. Seeing I got a slow puncher in both of my right tyres in the first stint, so that's why I pitted early.
Did you? Did you? Sorry, I had a bit of a voice break there.
Yeah,
Oh, that was funny.
yeah. I had a front right around about 15 minutes into the race. Not front right, back rear right, and then it wasn't that bad. And then I think the lap that I pitted, I had that front right one as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I just pitted straight away because having two front right slow punches, you're gonna lose a lot of time with that. So
You got very
yeah,
lucky, to be fair.
Yeah, you did well to recover. I didn't know you had a puncher because I can't see it, obviously. But yeah, I didn't notice that. But after all that, congratulations, mate. P2 for you at the end of the day. It would have been a second podium in a row if the Imola were classed as a classification. So you had a big lead in the championship. But unfortunately, technically, this is the first race of the championship and you're second. So what's your expectations for the Valencia Grand Prix next week, Ewan?
well, I've not done Valencia at all. I've watched Harry raced around it for a bit in the GT2 cars, but I've never driven around it yet. But yeah, just trying to get another podium maybe, and then what's next after that? Yeah, three good tracks that I know, so I should be challenging for the wins in most of those coming up.
You seem very quick anyway. Very consistent.
I'm one with the BMW at the moment.
Yeah, you are. You seem like it as well because you've got some good form recently, Ewan. So keep it up, mate. And once again, congratulations for P2.
Cheers, thank you.
Jay Garrett, mate. So
Hiya.
what can I say? I mean, you just dominated that race. Just talk us through it because I don't really have any questions for you.
So, coming into the race, I didn't really have any expectations, honestly. I honestly thought I was going to be like last race in Imola. That didn't count, where the Lamborghini wasn't too strong, struggled a bit with the overall pace. But it was the complete opposite going into this race. Went to qualifying, had a really good first lap, and then stuck it on pole by 2 tenths. So that was good. Got a good start. Um, Kept a solid gap to Ewan, about 5-ish tenths. And then he misjudged his braking zone, went deep, and I knew that was my chance to brake because when you're behind someone, it's quite easy to stick with them, just by following the lines. Um, so as soon as I broke that gap, I knew I had him under control. So after that, it was just consistency and pace. Got kept behind a few back markers, but nothing too serious because only you and I had to go through the same thing. So, but just kept under control, kept the pace, won by 8 seconds. So hopefully next race, because I've raced with here before, um,
Yeah, you have on
in
MotoGP.
FRL. Yeah. I've raced also in FRL, which is another ACC league. I wasn't too bad around
everybody
that.
hates.
Yes, good point. Rotation. But I did actually do. I think I did quite well. Which rotation won that race in Valencia? I came third or fourth. No, I got taken out that race actually. But it's quite fun. That track. It's very fluent. It's very interesting. Can't wait. Hopefully Lamborghini's ride around there.
Well, you got lucky in the first race too because the standings are not classified. Otherwise, you and the rest will have the championship advantage over you. And in a short season like this,
Yeah.
every single race is critical. So it's lucky for you, dare say, to have the beginning of the season today. Really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very. I'm a lucky boy to be fair, because last race I kind of fumbled it. I was in sixth place, and then I spun on one of the exits of the corners, causing me to get damaged and box and get lapped, which kind of ruined my race. But luckily, it didn't count, and this is a start, so another chance.
Especially,
Let's not. What was you
sorry,
gonna say?
just especially when quite a few drivers who will probably be at the championship fight wasn't driving today,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
especially like
Nathan.
Nathan. Yeah.
Well, already
Because
he's allowed two.
yeah, yeah. Because in this, you get about I think like 40, 50 points for P1, I think. So, like, especially last season, the first season of CRL, I was in a title fight with Nathan, literally about 4 points separated us going into Brands Hatch, and me and Ewan had a bit of a lag spike and both crashed out the race, and Nathan won that race. So he had a 20-point lead into the last race.
It was you that had the lag spike, not me. You just crashed into
Yeah,
me
no,
with
no,
your
I
lag
was in
spike.
front of you.
Yeah, and you teleported behind me and then merged into my car, sending me into a wall.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
that
remember
race
that.
was a shambles.
I remember that too because I was in the party and I heard you both like shouting as well. And Nathan just went through, but yeah,
He was gassed.
you two seem to be like always close on track. Are you expect? I know it's early in the season, but do you expect in a close championship fight between yourself and Ewan, Jake?
Hopefully, I mean, I don't mind the competition, but I don't mind running away either. So, I mean,
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
Well, no, last season in the first was it in the first race, the Nürburgring?
Yeah, we had that good
Yeah,
battle there.
yeah. We were literally 8 tenths to each other the entire race, pretty much.
I did
Longest
bottle with
hour
pit
interview
stops.
ever. Holy shit! Can we end this already or what?
Rotation, you can leave if you want.
Oh yeah, I'm heading off then. That's
Laters.
See ya rotation.
Yeah, me and
see
Ewan had a
ya.
good battle around the Nürburgring, which Nathan fumbled because he got a drive through. But yeah, that was a good race. But hopefully, in this next race, we have a good one.
Yeah, hopefully
Hopefully,
too.
Lamborghini's competitive.
How do you feel in a Lamborghini, by the way? Is it one of your favorite cars driving? Are you getting used to it now?
Well, I mean, last race, I've not really driven Lamborghini, so last race, I mean, it was kind of getting used to it. Its strong points and weak points. But this race, I definitely connected with it. It felt a lot better. Um, but I mean, last my favorite car is the Ferrari, which I mean, it's probably one of the fastest cars in the game, but it's dead easy to drive. I like it a lot. That's what I drove last season, but this season I've gone with a bit more challenging car. Lamborghini is still a quick car, but it's not the quickest, and it makes it more fun.
All right, well, we're going to end it off there, and thank you, Ewan, Jake, and Rotation for joining me for my first ever podium interviews here in ACC, and my first time finishing an ACC commentary as well, which is quite interesting. And I learned a lot of things too throughout the whole race. And I was so close to reporting Rotation by accident too. I'm glad I didn't do that. Pressed the wrong button and almost reported him for cheating or whatever.
Oh dear.
I didn't do it. I just read it just in case what it said. And but anyways, we'll see you all next week on Sunday at 8 o'clock for the Valencia Grand Prix. It should be a good race there as well. It's got some high-speed corners as well. So we'll see you all next week, and take care. See you all for the Spanish Grand Prix too, which should be a good one, hopefully.